Welcome to this short video where we're going to look at the topic of forgiveness. Forgiveness or unforgiveness is one of the biggest hindrances to us coming into and receiving the Father's love. In Psalm 130 verses 3 and 4, the psalmist writes, "If you, O Lord, kept a record of sins, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness. Therefore you are to be feared." The Message translation puts it this way: forgiveness is your habit. That's why you're worshipped. And one of the things we've discovered is that carrying unforgiveness in our hearts is one of the biggest hindrances for us being able to receive the Father's love. And so we just want to look at this very briefly in this video and how we can come to a place of really being able to forgive. And as we forgive, that opens our hearts in order to receive more of the love that the Father has for us. One of the things I've discovered is that families are often the biggest source of our pain. And that's where we need to start with this whole topic of forgiveness. Of course, it's not limited to just families. It might extend to our colleagues at work or teachers at school, or our boss. It might even extend to people in the church. But families are often the biggest source of pain. And if we can start with forgiving our parents, forgiving our siblings, then that opens our heart for us to receive more of the Father's love. See, God's original plan was that our parents would model perfect love to us. But the reality is that they, like us, can only give what they themselves have received. And if our parents have been broken or wounded or suffered a lot of pain, then the love they give to us comes through that filter of their own pain. And so, unfortunately, many parents, in fact all parents, are not able to model the perfect love that God intended. And therefore each one of us has only received love in part or to some extent. And we've suffered wounds because of the brokenness of other people. Our parents are only able to pass on their experience of imperfect love to us. Martin Luther said, "I have difficulty in praying the Lord's Prayer because whenever I say, 'Our Father,' I think of my own father, who was hard, unyielding and relentless. I cannot help but think of God in the same way." And in Matthew chapter 18 in verses 21 to 25, Jesus tells us a familiar story of a servant who was forgiven by his master, but that servant could not go and forgive his fellow servant. And in the story, what we see is the king had lost something. The king had lost a huge amount of money which he was never going to get back. And before he could forgive his servant, he had to count the cost of what he'd lost and know what he was losing and know what he was never going to get back. And then once he'd counted the cost, he accepted that he would never get it back. He wrote off the debt and he could forgive his servant. And like the king in that story, we have to recognize that we've lost something, that something's been stolen from us. And the reality is we're never going to get it back. We can't wind the clock back. What we've lost is gone, and it's gone forever. And at the end of the story in Matthew, Jesus talks about forgiveness from the heart. True forgiveness is more than a decision. True forgiveness is counting the cost and understanding the effect of that loss on our lives. And so as we consider this story and as we meditate on what it means, we too have to consider what we have lost. What have we lost? What are we never going to be able to recover? What can we not get back? And as we consider what we've lost, I think it's helpful to, in determining what we've lost, we've lost the opposite of what we feel. So for example, if we feel rejected we've lost acceptance. If we feel alone, we've lost companionship. If we feel a distance in relationships, then we've lost intimacy. And so I think it's helpful for us to consider, when we're looking at what we've lost, what we've lost is the opposite of what we're feeling. And like the king, we have to count the cost and recognize that it's been stolen from us. And in doing that, in going through that process, we can come to the place where we can let it go. And we too, like the king, can write it off. But not only did the king count the cost, but he also had compassion and pity on his servant. And as we come to forgive those who've hurt us or wounded us, not only do we have to count the cost of what we've lost, but we also have to ask the Father to give us compassion and pity for them. Because it's only as we turn it that way round that we're able to truly forgive from the heart. And as we forgive from the heart, it sets us free. As I said at the beginning of this short video, this is one of the major topics we cover on our Father Heart Ministries A schools, because we really do see it as a major blockage to being able to receive the Father's love. And if you're interested in attending one of these schools, they're a week long and they take place all over the world. All of the worldwide schools are listed on the main Father Heart Ministries website, which is fatherheart.net. Or if you're interested in events or schools taking place in the UK, go to fatherheartministries.org.uk. Thanks for watching, and may God, our Father, bless you richly. Thank you.